I gave to you my heart, and I gave it oh so blindly, and I fell so deep I didn't see what was to be. And you gave to me your heart, and I took it oh so gladly, and we fell so deep, free falling, so lost, so lost. Save me from my broken reason. Save me.
Hello guys, this is a quick tutorial for a fully adjustable enchanting setup that allows you to select precisely the number of bookshelves you wish to have your enchanting table surrounded by, from 0 through 1, 2, lots, all the way up to the maximum of 15. So let's get on with it. First thing we're going to do is build a keypad. And it's a 4 block by 4 block keypad. And we'll put buttons on the front of that. Like so. Next step is to place repeaters facing out from the back of the bottom row of blocks, and we'll dig a 1 deep trench, place redstone at the bottom, and then place blocks on the top of that, and that will hook up the first row, the bottom row of buttons. While we're here, we might as well clear a bit of extra space. Like so. The next row of buttons, we put torches on the back of the blocks, and then repeaters on the top of the blocks we placed in the previous step, and then blocks in front of the repeaters and torches on those blocks to invert the signal. We can then run some blocks directly below those torches with redstone on, and that's the second row of buttons hooked up. For the third row, run torches along the back of the blocks and put blocks above those torches and torches on those blocks to invert the signal. We can then run a row of blocks on top of the blocks that we previously placed, and redstone on top of those blocks, and that's the third row of buttons hooked up. Finally, we can place torches on top of the keypad, and then blocks on top of those torches, and torches on those blocks. And then across the top of these torches here, we can run another series of blocks and place redstone on that, and that is the last level of buttons hooked up. So now the next task is to wire these 4 redstone lines up together in such a way that the signal strength is preserved. So if this is signal strength 15, this should be signal strength 14. And the way we're going to do that is we will take a block off the side of this torch and place a comparator on. And then what we're going to do is make this little T on the side shape and place some redstone there. Bring this line back here, redstone here, and another comparator. And then we're going to repeat this process on this side. Block, make the T on its side, knock out the middle, comparator, redstone, redstone, comparator, and then finally knock out those blocks there, comparator, redstone, redstone, then we'll need a block and a comparator. So now these 4 separate lines of redstone act as if it's one continuous line of 15 pieces of redstone dust. Okay, next we need to be able to store the signal strength that reaches down here, and we'll do that with a signal strength retaining memory cell. So we're going to run a comparator and redstone block, comparator, block to get some distance from the keypad, and then we're going to create a memory cell. And the way we're going to do that is clear away a bit more space. Just to work with, and we're going to create a comparator memory cell, and this is done with 2 comparators facing in opposite directions. Each of those comparators face into a block, and the empty spaces have redstone dust in. So whatever signal strength reaches here will be transmitted faithfully through these comparators and into this memory cell, which will store that signal strength, be it 0, 1, 5 or 15, whatever. So that can then be sent off to be used. Okay, so the next task is to make sure that this memory cell is reset before it stores a new signal. And we're going to do that with a sticky piston. We're going to create a monostable circuit here by taking a feed from this redstone, which powers the block, which powers the repeater. And then we're going to run redstone here with a torch and a repeater going into a block, and we shall put redstone in front of that torch, as you can see, and run the redstone along here and into a block. And we'll just test that now by placing a button on here to power this line of redstone. So the piston retracted and it is holding a charge. So that should mean if we hit this button, there's no charge in the memory cell. If we hit this button, there's a very slight charge. If we hit this one down here, we'll get max power. And most importantly, if we go back up here, it goes down to being a very low charge again. So the next step is to put our enchanting table in. So we can choose where we want our enchanting table, within reason, depending on how many comparators we've got available. And what we'll do is we'll place our enchanting table on this block here, which means we're going to want to knock out 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 15 blocks in this configuration, and that's going to want to go down another layer. Oops. And we want to place sticky pistons at the bottom. At that point, we then want to make this channel too deep and too wide around the outside of the sticky pistons. We can go underneath the button pad, and we'll also want to remove this wall here, and we can also remove this block down here. So the next task is to bring our stored signal along to the place where we want our first piston to rise if we were to only select one bookshelf. I like to start here at the opening and run it around and back to the other side of the opening. So in this particular case, we're going to want to use a comparator and a block, comparator and a block, and we'll need a bit of extra space here. Comparator, block in the corner, comparator, block, and comparator, block. Okay, so the next task is to actually wire these pistons up, and we're going to want to actually remove another layer of blocks here, which will make this area now 3 deep, and this is to avoid the system talking here, but you only need to do this where it's running alongside this comparator chain. Okay, and we can place repeaters along here, making sure the corner has only got one repeater on. Like so. And then we can run redstone along the back of all the repeaters. And then we want to place a comparator and a block, comparator and a piece of redstone in each of the corners. Like so. And finally, comparator, block, comparator, redstone. Okay, so let's check the signal reaches all the way around on max strength. Good. And if we select one fewer, good. So that should be good all the way around. And we can test this by selecting 1. And it does indeed select 1. At this point, we'll go ahead and place our bookshelves. which are somewhere. And we'll also grab some nice matching wood. And in fact an enchanting table itself. Pop that there. Bookshelves down. And we can then fill any gaps we have open with wood. And if you're building this in survival, you're going to want to light it up as well to make sure that you don't get any spawns. Like so. And then you can proceed to pretty it up in whatever way you see fit. And you have a fully operational and working adjustable enchanting table. Job done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Hope you can find a place for this in your world. And yes, until next time, take care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.